On a gorgeous sun-splashed afternoon for baseball at Fenway Park, and doesn't it feel good to say that during what's been a cold road trip? It's the road trip finale, game 3 of 3 with the Boston Red Sox and your first place Los Angeles Angels. Welcome and good morning. Ready to wrap up what's been a really fun road trip for the Angels here this afternoon. And yesterday was a blast. A big comeback for the Halos. We'll get into that in a moment. Today, a hotly anticipated start. Shohei Ohtani performing in the other house that Ruth built.
Yeah, here on the East Coast, I think it's time for him to get the feel of the split. And if he does, we're going to see a lot of swing and misses.
Ohtani making his 5th starting appearance of the year here this afternoon. And in case you missed the fun from yesterday's wild 10th inning comeback by the Angels, we'll come back with starting lineups in the opening pitch and take you to break with some of the fun from what was Game 2 of the series in Boston. Short turnaround after a wild night at Fenway yesterday. And Bobby, it doesn't matter how long you've been watching baseball. Every once in a while, more than every once in a while, there's something you've never seen before. And last night was one of those nights for the Angels.
Yes, with 2 outs and 2 strikes and thinking that we were going to go home and cry in our beer, we saw things happen time and time again that brought the good guys back and got us a great win.
Yeah, from crying in the beer to singing over a glass of champagne. That's how things turned in the 10th inning yesterday. Angels batting order here in the road trip finale, brought to you by Coastline Automotive Group. Ward, Fletcher, and Ohtani lead things off. Rendon, Walsh, and Stassi max out there for all 3 games of the series to catch. Mayfield in left for the 2nd time in his life. Marsh and Velasquez. No Mike Trout today, getting a scheduled day off. And these Angels facing a guy who was an Angel for a very short time in his 17-year career. That is the veteran left-hander Rich Hill. A Boston native and a guy who at the age of 42 is one of the oldest to ever go to work against the Angels in a major league game. Last time around for Hill was Friday at Baltimore. 4 innings of shutout baseball. We're underway this afternoon. Ward, Fletcher, and Ohtani for the Angels. Taylor Ward was a key cog in the 6th inning, or 6-run 10th inning yesterday. Hit the 2-run home run that gave the Angels the lead on a night that he wasn't in the starting lineup. Had a pinch hit strikeout, then struck the homer, and the rest, as they say, is history. What a night for Taylor it was.
And what a season so far. So comfortable at the plate and comfortable in this at-bat tonight.
Well, Hill gets a call on the inside part of the plate, and it's 2-2.
And Rich Hill pitches from the extreme third base side of the rubber, is able to throw his fastball inside to right-handers and then throw that big breaking ball.
Ward's a little early. Yeah, I mean, there aren't a lot of players that are Red Sox still. In fact, I think Hill might be the only one that was also a Red Sox when you managed this team 10 years ago.
Amazingly so. I had my press conference in a winter's day, late November, right up here in the press level of Fenway Park, and I looked down and there was a guy playing catch, and I said, who the heck is that? And they said, oh, don't worry about him. He's rehabbing, won't be with you at all this year.
And a called strike 3 taken by Ward.
And sure enough, he worked so hard that he came back through 25 very good innings for me in 2012. Was one of the best pitchers I had out of the bullpen. And here he is 10 years later, still throwing strikes.
Again, 4 strikeouts in 4 innings for him on Friday. And with 1 gone, here's Fletch. This is the 27th game of the season for the Angels and their 27th different lineup combination. Fletch batting second in the absence of Mike Trout. Little juggling atop the card, and David sends a fly ball out to right. Franchy Cordero out there today for Boston to make the catch.
And Rich Hill, known for his breaking ball, is coming out throwing fastballs to our lineup. And he has 2 outs, nobody on. Ohtani hitting, who might get a diet of breaking balls. But then again, Rich Hill is 42 years old and has a lot of guts throwing a 90-mile-an-hour fastball at major league hitters.
Great note for Shohei, first starter to bat in one of the first 4 spots in a visiting lineup, in any lineup, since Babe Ruth in 1919. The Ruth comparisons have been flying around all series long, and they reach a fever pitch today as Shohei rolls over a bouncer for Bobby Dahlbeck. And a 9-pitch 1-2-3 first starts the afternoon. Career, he takes the mound at Fenway Park, his 5th assignment of the season coming today. Note the strikeout to walk ratio, 30 punch-outs in just over 19 innings, only 5 walks. Last time around for Ohtani was back on the 27th at home against Cleveland. He went 5 innings in that game, earned the win, allowed 2 earned runs on 2 hits, only 4 strikeouts, I say only, and 1 walk. He threw his highest strike percentage of the year in his most recent start, Bobby. A good trend.
It's a good trend, and throwing all of his pitches. And as I mentioned in the opening, that this might be a day he really breaks out that split finger pitch that's so devastating and replace the slider that he's been using so often during his combat with the opposing hitters.
We'll see what he chooses for today's Boston lineup. This is how Alex Cora lines the Red Sox. He's had the first 4 stay consistent throughout the series. Story, Devers, Bogarts, and Martinez. Verdugo batting 5th today. Franchy Cordero back in the lineup after a day off. Bobby Dahlbeck, Jackie Bradley, who's had a nice offensive series, and Kevin Plawecki back in the lineup. He caught the opener on Tuesday. Showtime at the Fens. Ohtani's 3rd career start against the Red Sox, but his first in Boston. Story, Devers, and Bogarts to start things for the Red Sox, a lineup that's homered in 3 straight. 96 for your hands to start your day.
You know, he's been attacked on that first pitch a few times this year, and today that first pitch had a little extra zip on it.
It's always fun to watch the repertoire as it evolves for Ohtani. The 0-1. His assortment of pitches, his game plan is known only to him. And sometimes it's something that he improvises his way in and out of. We talked to Matt Wise, the Angels pitching coach, yesterday, and asked him, what's Ohtani going to do tomorrow? He said, I don't know, you tell me. Watch and we'll learn together.
And interestingly enough, he's one of the few pitchers that pitches with his entire foot on the rubber, from the middle of the rubber, and he has his catcher very often sit right in the middle of the plate. His stuff is what gets hitters out, not angles and not tricks, just good stuff.
Gets a couple swinging strikes on 96-mile-an-hour fastballs, and here we go on a ball and 2 strikes. Another heater, that one at 98. Letting the fastball eat. So here's the Arsenal breakdown through his first 4 starts last year, throwing the 4-seam much more infrequently this year, but he has increased the slider usage early in the season. He threw that slider a lot after the All-Star break last year, so maybe the trend is continuing from last summer.
And I think all around Major League Baseball, that trend is continuing where people are throwing more breaking balls than they are fastballs.
Slider that Story checks his swing on, 2-2. Trevor Story had the big bat yesterday for Boston, 3 RBIs for him. His only 2 hits of the series coming yesterday. Still no homers and just 9 RBIs in his first run through the league as a Red Sox. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Back-to-back sliders. Took a little off that one.
Yeah, it wasn't as big a break. Took a little off. Story just got a piece of it. These are the at-bats that extend his pitch count and shortens his pitching stay during a game. He needs to put him away right here.
Wondering when he'll break out his first split finger fastball. Here's the 2-2.
That'll work.
Asking you shall receive. He strikes out Story, and there's 1 gone.
First splitter of the day that stays up a little but breaks in on Story, and he really has no chance. First time seeing it in the day. Go tell your friends what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, the next one won't look like that. That's the problem.
That's
right?
the problem.
I mean, that's the magic of Ohtani. Here's Devers now. He was hitless yesterday to snap a 9-game hitting streak. Homered on Tuesday, his only hit in the 2 nights against the Halos, and takes a strike. Shohei very deliberate with his pace to start the afternoon, and it's 0-2 now to Rafi Devers. While we have a moment to check the defense behind Ohtani today, and man, was it fun watching Joe Madden cobble together new positions yesterday. Jack Mayfield in left field for the 2nd time in his life. Martian Ward in the outfield around him again. Trout with a day off today. Rendon, Velasquez, Fletch, and Jared Walsh. And Max Stassi behind the plate by design, catching all 3 in the series. A swing and a miss on a ball that gets away from Stassi. It's going to be a pass ball or wild pitch strikeout that nets the Sox first base runner today.
Boy, since Devers deposited a Noah Syndergaard fastball in the center field seats, he's had a steady diet of breaking balls, and he's looked bad on every one of them, including this one that gets away from Stassi and allows the runner to get to first base.
First curveball that Shohei's thrown in the game, and it's a big one. Proves unreceivable.
So let me get this straight, Matt. You think we should get ahead of this hitter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thanks for reminding me of that nugget that we unfortunately pointed out last night after he took a ball and then hit a homer. When he is in front of the count, he's hitting over 750 this year. All right, there we go. Swing and a miss on the slider.
Shohei got the memo.
So, yeah, we've seen everything from Ohtani so far. Split, slider, curveball, and his fastball is firm as 98 so far. Long set. Another good slider swung on and missed. He's got a chance at a 4th strikeout inning. Right?
Yes.
Get the wild pitch
or
strikeout.
More.
Or more. 5 strikeouts in an inning? Sure.
If it's unhittable, sometimes it is uncatchable.
Just kind of feeling his way through the early stages of the afternoon. Strike percentage as good as it could possibly be. 0-2 the count to Bogaerts. 1 out, 1 on. And he went around. You bet. 3 straight strikeouts start the afternoon for Ohtani.
Came out throwing fastballs, let the entire bench see that he had that in his arsenal. And then he went to the spin and the split and the curveball, and these hitters right now are baffled.
Franchise record for strikeouts in an inning, in case you're wondering. The great Chuck Finley, who on a number of occasions had a 4 strikeout frame during his terrific career. And here's Martinez now. He's out in front. Chance to flip the script from last night when Garrett Whitlock struck out the Angels in order to start the game. Oh, 0-1 to J.D. Martinez, who homered on Tuesday, 3 for 9 in 2 games against the Halos, and he's behind 0-2. Didn't somebody, and I'm wondering this aloud, don't I want to say somebody tied Seaver's record last year for consecutive strikeouts in a game? 10.
Came up one short, I think.
Did he come up short?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one that's so hard to break. Martinez puts it in play on a room service hop. Nothing in the first 3 strikeouts for Ohtani to start the afternoon.
Against the Red Sox this afternoon, and another special outing for Shohei Ohtani, pitching for the first time at Fenway while also hitting, and the significance of that in this particular ballpark is not lost on his manager, Joe Madden, who told us yesterday this is one of the 2 cathedrals in baseball left, Wrigley being the other one, but anytime you get to do something special in either ballpark, it's just different. He said, you know, it's a shame some of the fans don't get a chance to feel that as often, but for Shohei today, doing both in this ballpark, it's significant.
No doubt. You know, Joe has preached, Erica, as you're very aware of, you've had the same conversations with him. He has preached the kind of multi-generational talent of Shohei Ohtani and has offered cautionary words to anybody that just wants to swipe through highlights on their phone. I mean, you got to pay attention to what he's doing, because it's just so otherworldly. As Rendon flies out to right. Yeah, the Ruth comparison's a good one, and we'll make it for you. Around the same number of games as a hitter, and this was with Ruth doing both. Shohei's out-homered him about 2-1. Ruth made a lot more starts, but look at the Ks per 9 difference for Ohtani versus the Babe.
They used to put the ball in play more back in the day.
Right.
No launch angle.
No launch angle. There's no doubt about that. Here's one of last night's heroes for the Angels, Jared Walsh. You talk about a day. Snapped out of an 0 for 14 with a 3 for 5 game. That included a homer and 4 runs batted in. It's 1-1. Three for 5 is one thing, great, no doubt. But I don't know that you're going to find a more impactful 3 for 5 than what Jared Walsh did last night. Fifth inning double broke up the perfect game and then set up Max Stassi's homer. In the 9th inning, down to your last strike, the base hit that tied the game. And then in the 10th, the one that kind of stepped on the neck, the 3-run homer. Little kind of window dressing with the win probability. Swing and a miss. Eric, I know you talked to Jared about his big night earlier today.
Yeah, particularly about the base hit in the 9th inning off the lefty, Jake Diekman. I asked him how gratifying was that, and he said, you know, what really was gratifying was when you've got 2 outs in the 9th, you get a base hit to tie the game, lefty or righty, against a good bullpen arm in the back end. I'm happy about that, but he said he doesn't put too much weight into the lefty versus righty thing. Sometimes we just build something into a little bit bigger than it is.
Okay, that's fair. 2 gone, 5 in a row set down by Hill. Let's go back to that at-bat yesterday in the 9th on the Carl's Cam replay. This was one of the best at-bats of the season by an Angel, laying off slider after slider after slider. Was it 9 or 8 pitches? I forget. We'll count them.
He laid off, he fouled off, he competed the entire at-bat, and then he wound up finding a place between the infielders that actually worked and drove in a run. He just hit a ball in the same place, and today, Story was standing in that spot.
Yeah, not coincidentally, perhaps. It was a 9-pitch plate appearance with the Angels down to their last strike. 2 gone now for Max Stassi, who also had a big night yesterday. 2-run homer. Max's 3rd of the year coming last night. Oh, get going. That one's got a chance. Bradley looking up and making the catch in front of the wall. Knocked down by a steady New England wind on this Thursday afternoon. And this is what happened to Stassi's ball. Bobby, you thought this was gone too, huh?
I thought it was gone. Center fielder thought it was gone. Max thought it was gone, but it was caught coming in because the wind knocked it down.
It's like it hit an imaginary wall out there. So still scoreless as we pick things up in the bottom half of inning number 2. Good to have you along with us early on Valley Sports today. Angels looking forward to getting home to some warmer weather. A series with the Nationals, then the Rays coming into town. Fireworks on Saturday. Hope you make some plans to join us at the ballpark. Verdugo, Cordero, and Dahlbeck in the Red Sox half of inning number 2. So we're talking about the repertoires for both of these guys, and you made the observation during commercial. Who'd have thought that Shohei Ohtani would be the guy throwing more breaking balls than Rich Hill?
Amazing.
You never know, man.
It's a great game.
Rolled out to third for Rendon. Boy, oh boy, I don't remember seeing a guy as deep in the batter's box as Alex Verdugo just was against Ohtani. His back foot was almost out of it.
It used to be the norm that batters would come to the plate and rub out the back line of the batter's box, but more guys are standing a little closer to the pitcher. A lot of them think they get the breaking stuff a little before it breaks, but I'd like to see it as long as possible.
Franchi Cordero has done the same thing. Doesn't help him. And there are 2 quick outs for Shohei on routine ground balls. And we're going to show you again, and the 2 lefties, Verdugo and Cordero, were both about as deep in the box as possible. Take a look at that back foot.
Yeah, you stand on the line, you erase the line. You try to get a little further back at times. The umpire will come up and measure the plate by using your bat. Obviously, you'd like to have a longer bat so you could stand a little further back.
Here's Bobby Dahlbeck now with 2 quick outs. You know, the old managerial chicanery that used to exist as recently as the 70s and 80s isn't possible anymore because all those lines are so tightly regulated. But I remember when Maury Wills was managing the Seattle Mariners, chalking the batter's box. The instructions for the home crew was chalk it closer to the mound because he wanted to catch Rick Langford's curveball early.
Yes.
And Billy Martin, managing on the other side, kept staring at that batter's box, finally ran out with a little tape measure in his head, and they caught him. That doesn't happen anymore. Broken bat, base hit the other way.
All right, throw that 97-mile-an-hour fastball in on a right-hander's hands, figuring you'll break his bat, get everything that you wanted to accomplish accomplished, except for the ball loops in the right field.
A lot of sliders in the first inning, a lot of fastballs here in the second from Ohtani. Runner aboard with 2 gone now for Jackie Bradley Jr. And Shohei has an equipment issue. What were those things that he just threw back into the dugout?
They must be his running gloves that he had in his back pocket in case he gets on base. Forgot that he had them when he went out to the mound, and someone might have mentioned it.
That was weird.
Yeah.
All right, here's Bradley now with the man on. Dahlbeck not a threat to run. The Red Sox do very little running, which is why it was so curious last night that they sent the guy who has the slowest sprint speed on the roster, Christian Vasquez, in a key moment with a strikeout hitter at the plate.
And somehow Tepera felt that they were going to run and threw to first 5 times, keeping him close. And those throws to first might have kept him close enough to get us a strikeout, throw him out, double play to end the inning. It's a wonderful game.
There was just so much going on last night. What a blast. Ball and a strike to count to Jackie Bradley Jr. Here's the strike him out, throw him out we were talking about last night. Bobby Dahlbeck with a 40% miss rate. And they send the guy who really isn't a burner. And the Red Sox got burned. Hey, Alex Cora's aggressive. He's not going to apologize for any of that stuff. 2-2.
Shohei's pitch count after 5 outs is right where he wants it to be. He needs to get an out here in the next 2 pitches so that he can get to the dugout with less than 30 in 2 innings.
Bradley's been a tough out in the series, 3 for 4. Into that stiff wind and toward the deepest part of the park. And Marsh glides over to make the catch. Nothing comes of the 2-out single. On to the 3rd, no score in Boston. Later on the homestand, I'm going to do my Gooby here for the Hyundai key to the game. It's a little Ringo Starr. It don't come easy. I think my Gooby just became my Patrick O'Neill there. Anyway, it don't come easy, and it didn't come easy last night, man. Oh boy. I mean, so many twists and turns. The Angels didn't get their first lead until the 10th inning. Long game, absolutely worth Joe Madden's wait. A lot of fun last night. Things coming easier for both starters so far today. No problems for Rich Hill. Same set of Ohtani. Hill yet to allow a base runner. And he's in front of Jack Mayfield 0-2.
Very effective with an 89-mile-an-hour fastball inside often to right-handed hitters, and then throwing a 72 to 74-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
You know, there was another series of firsts from that game yesterday. Mayfield swings and misses. Plawecki finishes the out with a throw. First game in franchise history with 16 or more strikeouts and 4 or more homers in a single game. And we can keep going with that stuff. 1 away. Ball didn't get far enough away from Plawecki for Mayfield to advance. Here's Brandon Marsh looking for his first hit here in the series. 0 for 3 strikeouts yesterday. Brandon led off last night. Batting in the 8th spot today and taking a strike. So as we've already established, Rich Hill is in his 2nd tour of duty with the Red Sox. First one coming over a decade ago. During a time in Hill's career when it looked like it might be a wrap. But it was July of 2015 when he changed his mechanics and went and pitched in the independent minor leagues with the Long Island Ducks. Struck out 21 in 11 innings. There were 2 Boston scouts watching him and said, why not? They signed him to a minor league deal. He went to Pawtucket, dominated. Red Sox called him up to make 4 appearances at the end of the year. Hill spun that into a 3-year contract with the Oakland A's. Oakland traded him to the Dodgers, where he was a big part of their success. And here he is today, still pitching in the Grande Ligas at the age of 42.
And I mentioned him being out here in the dead of winter, rehabbing his arm. That's the kind of hard work and dedication that it takes to pitch when you're 42. And for a guy as good as Rich Hill is, I'm really happy for him.
Making his 200th career start today, 17 years after his debut. Oh, he had Marsh way out front.
That's a pitch you hardly ever see. Pitcher pitching from the third base side of the rubber, dropping down to throw a sidearm breaking ball to a left-hander that crosses over the plate to the outside. And when you bend at the waist and you drop down like Rich Hill does right here, it's a swing and the miss.
I mean, it almost looks like he's playing a different sport sometimes when he drops down to that arm angle. 2 gone now for Andrew Velasquez. 3 strikeouts for Hill so far today. Angels were undeterred last night after a flurry of early strikeouts against Garrett Whitlock. I mean, he looked about as tough as anybody that the Angels have faced this year. Rolled out to shortstop for Bogarts, and Rich Hill is perfect through 3. Still scoreless. Take on the Rays, a 6:30 start at the Big A. First 25,000 fans receive an Ohtani MVP bobblehead courtesy of Yakult Probiotic Drink. For more info, as always, visit angels.com. And the MVP back to work in the bottom half of the 3rd. Boston sends up the number 9 hitter Kevin Plawecki, followed by the top of the order guys Story and Devers. Not a lot of activity on base so far. The only hit belongs to Boston's Bobby Dahlbeck. Plawecki got the night off yesterday, 1 for 3 in Tuesday's opener. 1-1. High fly ball out to right. Ward in the sun field. What's the first thing you think of when you see a right fielder shield his eyes in the sun in a day game at Fenway Park? Who's the first player you think of?
Wow.
Because it pops into my head automatically when I see a guy do that in right.
Lou Piniella.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Lou Piniella with the Yankees. Playoff game in '78 that we talked about, the Bucky Dent game. Lou was challenged by the sun all afternoon.
Lou was challenged by a fly ball his entire career.
One gone now for Trevor Story.
But he sure could hit.
Was it intimidating playing here? I mean, you played the outfield here in your playing days. Was it harder than what people think or easier than what people think?
Well, right field is very, very difficult, and it stays with you the entire game. Those line drives become a nightmare.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that, because I think if you just straw polled the lay fan, they would think that playing the caroms off the green monster would be the biggest challenge. But players who've been out there almost to a man agree with you. Right field is harder here. At least as hard.
No, it's harder. There's more space. You have the sun. You have the angles. There's a lot to deal with there.
Story backs out of the box on 0-2. Ohtani struck him out to start the bottom of the first. And he strikes him out here in the third. 4 for Shohei today.
'97 up and in after a couple breaking balls makes it a real tough way to make a living. And here's a strikeout candidate on breaking balls. He did it the first time up and wound up on first base. Let's see if we can stay away from the fastball again.
Yeah, Ohtani struck out Rafael Devers on 3 pitches and never threw him a fastball. Starts with the soft stuff again. Devers not quite as deep in the left-handed side of the batter's box as we saw Verdugo and Cordero. He might want to get back there, though.
For that 98, he did get a fastball, and he's walking out of the box saying, I haven't seen one of them in 4 at-bats, and how did I miss it? Because it was 98, man. It was 98.
Oh, 0-2 the count to Rafi Devers. Empty left side of the infield, and he gets a base hit.
Little backdoor slider right on the outside corner that Devers does a great job with. If no one's there, let's hit them where they ain't. And they ain't on the left side when he's hitting.
Kind of surprised Shohei went back to the curveball there, to be honest.
You wanted a fastball way up out of the zone?
It's something that was, I think he was vulnerable to another aspirin tablet there.
Up out of the zone would have been good.
So here's Xander Bogaerts now, who started play with the second best average in Major League Baseball at 359. Tied for second in the game in hits with 33. Homered yesterday for the second time this year and takes strike 1. Bogaerts struck out on 3 sliders in his first try against Ohtani today. Another empty spot in the infield. Well, the shift taketh away, and the shift giveth occasionally, and it's done that twice this inning.
Yeah, an ordinary ground ball to an infielder if he's positioned there, but they're playing the percentages. He hardly hits it to right on the ground. That time he did, and gets the benefit of a hit.
I mean, that's a pair of like 14 hoppers that bleed through the infield and put runners aboard in front of a dangerous batter, J.D. Martinez. Grounded into an inning-ending fielder's choice play in the first. Martinez homered on Tuesday. First bit of trouble Ohtani's been in this afternoon. 0-1. Well, since the 2015 season, when J.D. Martinez kind of remade his hitter's profile and had huge years in places like Phoenix and Detroit. Since that time, he and Mike Trout among Major League Baseball's home run leaders. Shohei just missed that time.
Started him off with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball and then followed it with a 98. He knows that runner is in scoring position. He knows this is one of the clutch hitters in the lineup, and he's going to give him everything he has.
1 ball and 1 strike. 2 runners aboard with 2 gone here in the home third. A scoreless tie. Late on 98 again. So now what?
Split and say goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though he hasn't really worked it into his repertoire yet today, he's thrown a couple of them, but I think he, after striking him out with 1 on the first at bat, he could strike him out again and bounce it.
Got him. Stayed with the firm stuff and struck out J.D. Martinez to strand a pair. 5 punch outs for Shohei through 3. Day as it is today in Boston as we give you our Charmin Ultra Strong stats for the day. We've talked about the use of the fastball being very different for Shohei Ohtani and Rich Hill. Shohei throws a lot harder than the 42-year-old veteran. We'll show you a couple of them in a moment here as Rich Hill goes back to work on the top of the order. He has yet to allow a base runner in this game. Scoreless as we welcome you back. You've got a guy who throws the 5th slowest fastball in baseball in Rich Hill against the guy who throws the 5th fastest fastball in baseball, and that's Shohei Ohtani. Taylor Ward struck out to begin the ball game. The 1-1 home. 2 balls and a strike. So far, so good for both starters today. The 2-1 home. And Ward in front, 3-1 now.
Taylor Ward, I think, is starting to get the respect of the home plate umpires. They're understanding that he understands the strike zone, and those close pitches are going his way.
And he lays off ball 4. So that was a fastball that missed at 87 miles an hour. Let's take a look at the heaters here. Right, this is Hill. That's his average fastball, around 87, 89. Here's Shohei. So, but you can't really get the difference until we treat you to this. Shohei's fastball is the red line. And by the time it reaches the front of home plate, Rich Hill's fastball is almost 5 feet behind it.
And in time, that's about 1/100th of a second behind it.
Right. The blink of an eye.
400th of a second, I guess, behind it. Yeah, unbelievable. In time and space, which the game is played in, that time and space is hard to imagine.
Wow. Pitch that looked like it missed up. And Hill gets the call to make it 1-1. And that's usually where David likes to swing the bat. Leadoff walk gives the Angels their first base runner of the game. The 1-1 to Fletch. Breaking ball misses high.
Well, we haven't seen any action on the bases in this series, and this might be the time on a 2-1 count with Fletcher at the bat, even though Hill has a pretty good pickoff move.
Yeah, it almost felt like they had something going on 1-0. That's lined into center field. It's going to carry, however, to Jackie Bradley Jr. A well-hit first out of the inning. Red Sox are a good defensive team, and their slow start is not the fault of what they do defensively. Fangraphs has them ranked as the top defensive runs saved team in baseball. The major league leading 17 of them. And I know that quantifying defense is hard and everybody has a little different formula. That's just one example. Here's Ohtani now with 1 out and 1 on. Shohei swings and sends a mighty high fly ball out to deep center field. Bradley in the sun. He peels out and it's off the wall. Ward had to hold up. He gets to third, but Shohei on a ball off the fence in right center can't get past first base because Ward had to hold it. Looked like Bradley was going to make that catch.
Actually, Taylor went back to tag up, thinking that this would be a very difficult throw when caught. It was not caught. Luckily, he gets to third base after his recovery, but Shohei couldn't pass him on the bases, so he held up and remained at first.
Boy, Jackie Bradley Jr. is a former Gold Glove Award winner. He is among the better defensive players in baseball at any position, and the wind and the sun just got him there.
Yeah, the ball drifted. It probably was a home run without the wind, but the wind moved it a little, and the sun disguised it a little, and it wound up to be a base hit.
Here's Anthony Rendon now. He flied to right in his first at bat. Big opportunity for the Angels. Runners at the corners and one away. And you're getting into the time of the day, Bobby, where Alex Cora is potentially thinking about the bullpen. I know it's only the fourth, and Rich Hill's been tough, but he is rarely extended late into a ball game at this stage of his career, and that's Tanner Houck, who would be the next in. He'd be the length guy today. Oh, 0-2.
Yeah, we have to capitalize right here. First and third and one out. Anthony's been swinging the bat well the last couple days. RBI situation, time to cash in, get some runs on the board before Houck gets in the game, because he has very good stuff.
By the way, that ball Ohtani hit would have been a home run at Angel Stadium. Have you ever seen a ball hit that little corner out there, that little triangle with the fielder a foot away from it?
I'm not sure.
That is really unusual to see. Still 1-2 to Rendon.
And I'm surprised that it didn't carry him away from Jackie Bradley. See, the sun is playing havoc right now. He loses it on the way down. It hits and then hits his leg on the way off. Otherwise, that's an inside the Parker if it misses his leg and caroms over into center field.
Got him. Big strikeout for Hill. There are two away now.
I mean, he gets him on his fastball. He's been pitching with that fastball from the start of the game and gets a big strikeout there.
So another opportunity for Jared Walsh against a left-handed pitcher. We've been talking about this throughout the road trip, the dramatic improvement that Jared has made versus left-handed pitching, something the Angels challenged him with in spring training, and Jared has met that challenge. And you were right, by the way. We were wondering if he was going to be in there today against Hill. You said he's going to be in there.
I said he'd be in there, and I hope he's in there for the right reason, to drive in this run with 2 outs.
1-1.
Taylor Ward has a lot of room at third base, with the third baseman playing way off the line. Got to be alive for the ball in the dirt. Maybe we'll steal one here.
When the shift is legislated, hopefully next year, what the Red Sox are doing right now will be illegal. They've got 2 guys that don't have a foot on the dirt. Story's playing the beer league rover position in short right, and Bogarts is playing where the second baseman might play in a little league game if it was a left-handed hitter that was 6 years older than all the other kids.
And I know that's all in play and people have thought it through, but I'd like him to think it a little further through and allow the shift, but allow it to be limited and have the manager have a limited amount of shifts that he could use during a game. Make it part of the strategy of the game and part of the second guessing of the fans.
I've never heard that suggestion before. Another thing for the bookkeepers to worry about. How many shifts is this for the Red Sox? 3-2 now. That's interesting. You know, I think what's going to happen is it'll be, you have to have 2 infielders on each side of the second base bag, and at least 1 foot has to be in the dirt. I think that's what's going to happen next year, but we'll all wait and see together. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. But 2 gone, Shohei will get a head start. There he goes, and Walsh sends a fly ball high in the air for the infield. Plawecki to retire the side. Runners at the corners, left stranded, still scoreless. Safety, visit buyhyundai.com or see your SoCal Hyundai dealers today. By Jack in the Box, try Jack in the Box popcorn chicken combo for $5.99. Get it classic, spicy, or 50-50. By OC Healthcare Agency, build your healthiest self at angels.ocnavigator.org. And by your Southern California Cadillac dealers. Now, Shohei Ohtani's improvisational skills are such that we marvel at it every 6 days when he goes to work. We talked earlier about this being his 3rd outing against the Red Sox. His improv skills were on display against Boston last year in this one at-bat against then Red Sox Danny Santana. Curveball, four-seamer fouled, and then watch the assortment of pitches. Splitter in the dirt, another curveball at 67 miles an hour that got him to fly out. I mean, you've got no chance when he's got it all working at the same time.
And he has that curveball working really well today. His fastball's touching 100 at 99 plus a little, and he has great control.
Alex Verdugo, Franchi Cordero, and Bobby Dahlbeck in the Red Sox half of inning number 4. These were the 2 left-handed hitters that we noticed being almost out of the back of the batter's box in their last at-bats, and it looks like Verdugo's doing the same thing here. 0-2.
That was his best splitter of the day. Swing and miss. Might start working it into his pitch mix.
Fastball fouled away, still 0-2. Still the Red Sox RBI leader with 13 is Verdugo. Here's the next 0-2 to him. Just got a piece to stay alive.
That ball was called foul very quickly. Looked like Max caught it over the plate. Catch that ball bouncing up over the plate. The plate's in fair territory.
Topped contact. Ohtani gets a lot of it, and that's being quantified this year. Got him. Terrific split finger fastball, and as you said, Bobby, it looks like he's going to break that out maybe a little bit more here second time through the lineup.
Well, they've seen the curveball, they've seen the slider. He has the fastball at a very high level, and the fastball split combo, especially against these left-handed hitters, is devastating.
1 gone for Cordero, who grounded out in his first try, takes a strike. Ohtani has struck out 6 this afternoon. That's 86 for the season. A bouncer to first. Good backhanded play by Walsh, who does it himself. The strikeout pace that Ohtani is on is rather unbelievable. He's averaging more than 14 strikeouts per 9 innings. He got through April with the highest K per 9 of any starter in franchise history. Anytime you appear above Nolan Ryan in the franchise record book, people take notice.
The strikeout king, Nolan Ryan.
Here's Dahlbeck now with 2 away.
I managed his 5,000 strikeout game, Matt, and it was the most incredible at-bat ever. Ricky Henderson fouled off a 3-2 pitch before he struck out for the 5,000.
How many Ryan no-hitters did you manage?
Well, I played in his first, and I was in the stands for his second with my broken leg, and I managed the 6th and 7th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw a few.
Did you say a word to him during the 6th and 7th as a manager? Did you avoid him completely?
Of course.
2 strikeouts for Ohtani this inning, a total of 7 on the afternoon. Well pitched affair on both sides of the scorecard. On to the 5th. 0-0 in Boston. A scoreless game at this stage, as was the case last night. There would be a lot of runs late last night, as you know by now. Dramatic extra innings comeback victory by the Angels. But scoreless as we start the top half of inning number 5. For Max Stassi, Jack Mayfield, and Brandon Marsh. Well, what's on the line this afternoon, big picture for the Angels, is a winning road trip. And though there have been some shutout losses along the way, the Angels at 3-3, trying to keep a really nice winning theme alive. First homestand, the Angels finish with 3 wins, 3 losses. Joe Maddon's first road trip, he wins 5 of 7. They come back home, win 5 of 7 again, and a chance to win 4 of 7 here on this trip. Did you ever break down the schedule in chunks like that, based on personnel, based on what you thought, games you thought you should win? Did you ever do that?
Not really, but I did take it 10 games at a time and try to turn the 10 games. And the 6 and 4 was the key, knowing that we were going to have a 2 and 8 along the way, because everyone does, and try to match it up with an 8 and 2.
Okay. Rich Hill's yielded just a walk and a base hit in this one. The base hit was about 400 feet. The ball that Ohtani hit off the wall that Bradley lost in the sun and wind last inning. 3-2 the count to Max Stassi.
Rich Hill thought he had one there. He's going to go to the back of the mound so the umpire could understand his displeasure.
Hill has struck out 4, 7 strikeouts for Ohtani today. The 3-2 home to Max got him on a curveball. Nasty. That was a video game breaking ball.
It's pretty amazing. At 42 years old, a guy that we thought would go 3 innings is now into his 5th. Has 1 hit in the hit column, striking people out, and looking like he's a kid fresh out of college.
Mayfield, one of the strikeout victims today. Jack looking for his first base hit of the series. 0 for 6 so far in Boston. Yeah, left field has been something of a rotating spot. Jack taking a stab at it here. It's 2-0.
And Joe Adell, who was playing out there and having troubles defensively, is now working on his skills at AAA.
It's a limited schedule today in baseball. Only 10 games on the docket, including a few day games. Ours, Reds and Brewers playing an afternoon affair. So are the Nationals and Rockies. The Nationals among the teams that await the Angels when they come home tomorrow. Nice homestand with Washington and the always tough Tampa Bay Rays. Hill's 2-1. That one might stay playable. Cordero's on the move, and he makes the catch in front of the stands.
It's a real fine defensive play where you have to come in and get the angle of this fly ball and matched up with the angle of the ballpark, run down the side of the fence rather than running into the corner of it to make the play. Right there, he heads down the fence rather than into the fence. Good job.
Here's Brandon Marsh now with 2 gone. Did you see the highlight the other day from the Toronto Yankees game where a guy caught a Aaron Judge home run ball, Toronto fan, and gave it to a kid next to him wearing an Aaron Judge jersey, and the kid broke out in tears as though he had just been handed $1 million.
It was a nice moment.
Oh, so great. And one act of kindness begets another, because George Springer of the Blue Jays was so impressed by the gesture that he signed a jersey for the guy that gave the kid the ball. Way to go. Good behavior in the stands. We love it. 2-2.
And Brandon really needs a hit. To get it against a left-hander would really get him going, because this road trip has not been a very fun time for Brandon Marsh.
He's worked it to a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Number 9 hitter Andrew Velasquez waiting on deck. Well, you'd love to figure out a way to flip the lineup card back to Ward, who'd be in the hole. 3-2. Got him. Slowest from Rich Hill, and it's been really effective this afternoon. I mean, a monstrous shot. Jays fan gave the ball to this Yankees fan, and the kid was, shall we say, he was grateful? A neat moment. And actually, Aaron Judge met with him and signed the ball after the game. Really nice moment a couple of days ago. Scoreless here for Jackie Bradley Jr., Kevin Plawecki, and Trevor Story. Shohei Ohtani rolling right along. He and Rich Hill have matched one another pitch for pitch. Completely different styles, of course, but each has been very effective. Did Shohei just drop down there, Rich Hill style? Different arm angle on that.
I think it was an illusion.
Okay.
But he can make it up. I think he can throw the ball any way he feels like it. He's a spectacular athlete on the mound.
0-2. And Bradley hooks that one foul. Mercifully foul.
Concentrate, Shohei. 0-2, Jackie Bradley at the plate.
Next 0-2 pitch. Came back with the heater and missed.
By an inch.
The first velocity pitch that Bradley has seen in the plate appearance. It was a slider and then 2 splits. 1-2. See if he goes back to the splitter here. Yeah, that one wasn't as sharp. And Bradley's aboard and thinking about more to start the inning. Ward is on it. Throwing to second base is not in time. It's a leadoff double in the Boston 5th.
Taylor Ward gets to this ball in a hurry, but Jackie Bradley has too much foot speed for a ball that slows down in the long outfield grass of Fenway. Taylor making a very good throw, but not enough to get Bradley at second. Yeah, he's moving out of the box thinking double from the first step to the last.
He's in scoring position to start the inning. Second time this afternoon that Shohei's had to deal with a runner in scoring position. And it's Kevin Plawecki now, who flied to right back in the 3rd. When the split finger fastball doesn't split, and this is true of anybody, not just Shohei, it turns into a BP fastball. And that was kind of the story with that last pitch to Bradley.
Yeah, it stays up and it's 90 miles an hour, and it's a little easier to hit, no doubt about that.
Back-to-back fastballs have Ohtani in front 0-2 now.
And those were not BP fastballs.
No. And by the way, even when Shohei doesn't execute a perfect split finger fastball, it's still faster than Rich Hill's heater.
Think about it.
Yeah. He can do whatever he wants here on 0-2 to the number 9 hitter. Wow, that got into the stands with some hair on it. Eesh. By the way, the Red Sox and the Angels, for that matter, Bobby, have both been very good with productive outs. That is, moving a runner in the act of committing an out.
And it looked like Plawecki was actually trying to hit the ball to right field to move the runner with 2 strikes.
That's into right field. Ward coming on to make a great catch for the first down. Wow. That looked like trouble off the bat. Plawecki is a really tough out, by the way.
Well, there he was trying to move the runner, hit the line drive, and Taylor got a great jump on this ball to make a diving catch. The diving catch not only saved a run, but also kept Bradley at second base. Great job by Taylor.
So there's an example of an out that is not a productive out. And it's back to the top of the order, Trevor Story, who's really had his hands full with Ohtani this afternoon.
And just the FYI, if Bradley is tagging up as he should on that ball, he gets the third with the diving catch, but he was thinking it was a hit and was tagging up late.
Boston is best in baseball in productive outs this year, and the Angels, though quite farther behind them statistically, are still the 4th best in that category in the game. I mean, it's easier said than done against Ohtani.
Agreed.
Right? So he had an 0-2 count on Plawecki and got the line out. Now he's 0-2 on Story, who just doesn't look comfortable against him at all today.
Story hasn't found his stride here in this Boston uniform, and I hope he doesn't find it for another hour or so.
Struck him out on a splitter in the first, a 4-seam fastball in the third. The 0-2. Still a very reasonable pitch count. Ohtani has not been pressed in this game. Only once has he had multiple base runners aboard. And that was after the 2 singles by Devers and Bogarts in the third. There should be plenty left in the tank to get through 6 innings.
Oh, 6 for sure.
The 1-2 got him again. Third time he has struck out Trevor Story. 8 on the afternoon for Ohtani.
That's a slider that stays inside. Trevor doesn't know what to do with it. Thinks fastball's ready to hit it. It's out in front. Tries to slow down just to make contact. Nothing doing. Number 8 on the day.
So now Rafi Devers, who struck out on a curveball in the first, and then had that little base hit into the shift on a curveball in the third.
And now with the man on second, Rendon will not be playing as far towards second in the shift, so we'll take that hole away.
Shohei hits 100 for the first time this afternoon and misses a ball and no strikes.
Yeah, he knows that this is the inning. These are the hitters. What he has, he's going to give it to the hitters. And this number 2, 3, and 4, if they all come up, we'll see his best stuff.
This is such a great cat and mouse game. It's fun to guess along with Ohtani on his repertoire. The 1-0, and it's a ball and a strike. So 2 fastballs, both of them up, and I would imagine by design.
Yeah. Devers thought he should have had that. He's shaking his head. Can't believe he got 2 fastballs in a row.
We talked about it earlier in the series, that stretch of the schedule last year when Rafi Devers just could not hit a fastball. Oh, man. And then he changes his arm angle, he changes the hitter's eye level and throws him that.
An 81-mile-an-hour curveball that screws him into the ground.
Gee whiz.
Swing and miss. I'm going to speed it up because he's throwing 99. No, it's 81.
Trying to strand a leadoff double. The 1-2. Came back with 100 again, fouled off.
Ohtani is spectacular, though, isn't he? Knowing that this is the guy that he has to reach down and find his best. His best is 100 now after pitching at 97 and 98.
The 1-2 again. He got him! Oh, man! Mixing 100 with a nasty breaking ball. He takes care of Devers for a second time. One of the elite RBI men in the game had no chance. 9 for Shohei in a scoreless tie. Look at the green monster, which, by the way, wasn't painted green until 1947. It's just the monster, gray monster.
The gray monster, but the scoreboard was always there.
Tanner Houck is the new pitcher for the Red Sox. It'll be a completely different assignment with the harder throwing right-hander now. Houck has been great this year. In fact, he's been great in all 2.5 of his years with the Red Sox. This was the idea, the plan all along for Boston, to piggyback Houck with Hill in Game 3 of the series. He last pitched on Friday and earned the win with 3 scoreless innings in relief over the Orioles.
Good fastball, 2 good breaking balls. His command has been his challenge. And maybe Andrew could work a walk here leading off this inning.
Velasquez has been on base only once in the series. Came in a walk on Tuesday. Was hitless yesterday. Ball and 2 strikes. Well, if the art of pitching is to interrupt timing, which it is, you couldn't interrupt timing anymore by completely contrasting the guy that you just had out there with the guy that's out there now for Boston.
Wow.
1 away. With Taylor Ward due up, how about a quick word from Hyundai?
It's your journey. Own it in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
Well, Ward was one of only 2 base runners to successfully reach against Rich Hill. A leadoff walk back in the fourth. Just that and the Ohtani 400-foot single. That was it. Quickly 0-2.
With outstanding stuff. Wow, that's on the black. 95 miles an hour from a 6'5" right-hander coming down the hill as hard as he can.
Wow. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Threw him a wrinkle on 0-2 and gets him looking.
And not only breaking perfectly, but putting it right on the corner.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Tanner Houck. And now it's David Fletcher. Nobody throwing in the Angels bullpen. Shohei Ohtani ready to go back out there and go to work in the bottom of the sixth against the meat of the Boston order. And as fearsome as it sounds to face Bogarts, Martinez, and Verdugo, that group collectively has only one hit against Shohei today. Ohtani on deck.
A little slider that got away from him. Hopefully he'll lose the feel of it, because other than that pitch, it's been all aces with his slider and his fastball.
He's thrown only one non-slider among his last 7 pitches. One and two. But between Garrett Whitlock last night and Tanner Houck today, I mean, you're talking about two of the most lively right-handers in the game. And it's interesting that I don't know that the Red Sox exactly know what they want each of them to be.
Yeah, usage.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think Whitlock is a starter. He's had 6 relief appearances, 3 starts. Houck is capable of starting.
And they need help at the end of the game, too.
Yeah.
So they're going to mix and match for a while and then figure it out. But Alex Cora has the reputation of understanding how to use his players.
Ball and 2 strikes to David Fletcher, trying to get Ohtani to the plate here with 2 away. And Shohei's at bat will have to wait. Once again, a Red Sox pitcher strikes out the side. Pitches. He's punched out Trevor Story 3 times and has carved up the Red Sox lineup again today.
Well, he hasn't had any run support, so he knows he has to be stingy. Men have gotten on base, but when they have, he's reached down and given them the best that he has, and his best is usually better than the hitter's best.
So back to work in the 6th. He'll get Bogarts, Martinez, and Verdugo. And likely the last time that he'll have to fade this group this afternoon. 4 of the 9 punch outs, as you see, have come on the split finger fastball, which he really didn't break out until the second time through the order today. Xander Bogaerts has 1 of the 4 Red Sox hits this afternoon. A 2-out single in the 3rd that was just bounced into a vacated spot in the infield. Taking his time digging back in. Shohei's ready to go to work. great slider. My goodness.
Yeah, the shadows here at Fenway at this time of the day sometimes give the hitters an advantage. You can see the catcher's shadow there, and if the catcher moves too soon, and Max knows this and sits in the middle of the plate to negate it, but if he moves too soon, the hitter could figure out or see out of the corner of his eye which way he's going.
0-2 pitch. Caught him again. Oh my
no
goodness.
help. Shadows didn't help.
I mean, it's just he's playing he's on a different level. I mean, is there a level above Major League Baseball that they should call him up to? Seriously.
The Ohtani level.
I mean, my goodness. He just made one of the best hitters in the world look like he just had no chance. A curveball and then 2 swinging sliders, and that's 10 for Ohtani today.
And if you had over 6.5 strikeouts, you're a winner.
Yep. Here's J.D. Martinez now. The challenge today is going to be getting some runs, and that's what we said last night. It all happened in the 10th inning. Angels hoping not to wait so long tonight, or today, as it were. You know, Bobby, why this is, I think, particularly satisfying for Angels fans and for Shohei and for Joe Madden. Do you remember last year, middle of the summer, Ohtani's real clunker, his bad start, came at Yankee Stadium. And it left a lot of people in that kind of less than generous New York media landscape saying things, that's into left field, and that's going to be trouble off the monster. Mayfield plays it well, throwing to second. Oh, man, if the throw is there, Martinez is dead at second base. They had him by 2.5 steps.
Well, this is a line drive off that green monster that Jack plays extremely well. The carom comes off 35 feet, and Jack runs it down toward the infield. As he's running it down, he makes as though he's a middle infielder and shuffles and makes a good throw to second, but not accurate enough to get Martinez coming in. Well played for someone who hasn't played left field at all in his career.
Well, Ohtani faded a leadoff double in the 5th. He'll try to strand a 1-out double here in the 6th. And it's Alex Verdugo 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Just 1 for 11 in the series. So just to finish my point, Shohei had a clunker in front of the East Coast media last year. There's just as much scrutiny on this market, and he's going to leave everybody in Boston more than impressed this afternoon.
Especially if he gets out of this inning with a goose egg on the scoreboard.
Gets to 100 again. This is where Ohtani dials up and finds an extra couple of miles when there's a runner in scoring position.
Very few are capable of doing that. He is one of few.
Two balls and no strikes to Alex Verdugo. Right back in the count on a foul ball off a slider. Would you believe that in this count, this is the first time Ohtani's been behind 2-0?
And he's had 9 0-2 counts and in complete control of most at-bats. And when he's been in trouble, he's reached down and got a little extra, and he needs it here.
Angels changing the signs with Martinez at second. You know, I always feel like, and you were, as a manager, among the very best at decoding the game. I always feel like when there's a runner at second and he goes back to the bag and stays there as long as Martinez is, that he's paying more attention than the runner who just kind of touches the bag and then goes back to his lead. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, I think that those who are looking in, as Martinez is trying to figure something out, but it's really hard to decipher signs.
2-2. And I guess especially for Shohei, who's got so many pitches, it's not like he's a two-pitch guy.
Yeah, I think if you get a middle infielder who's used to looking in at the signs when they're on defense, when they get out at second base, they can actually start to decode whatever the code is. But when you get outfielders and DHs out on the bag, they're really not good at it.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a hitter to trust his teammate. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Well, the Angels aren't taking anything for granted, because this is the second time that Ohtani and Stassi have changed the signs in this at bat. A very long set. Oh, and Verdugo got time. He got really late time there. I think Ohtani was into his move there. I'm surprised they gave it to him.
It's a real fine line, especially with 2 strikes. You don't want the pitcher to have a free shot at striking someone out. An umpire usually gives it to the hitter, even though he's a little late.
The home plate umpire this afternoon, the crew chief Paul Emmel, is working his first Ohtani start. He's never been back there for Shohei before. On a hop for Fletcher, there's one of the productive outs that we've spoken of earlier that the Red Sox have been so good at. Runner at third with 2 away now.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversations about the signs between Ohtani and Max Stassi, but I think Ohtani has an idea right here, and instead of talking about the sign, I think he was just talking about the approach and how to get Cordero out in this situation.
Strike 1 to Franchy Cordero. By the way, did you see that strike percentage that we just put up on the screen? He's at 83% today.
Yeah, 83%, and he has 84 pitches here trying to complete the 6th inning. You know, you want to see him at 90 or less after 6. I think he's right on point.
0-1 to Cordero, a little flare that Velasquez makes the play on. A game-saving catch. It almost looked like the shift was going to beat the Angels again, but Andrew Velasquez ranged out there like a slot wide receiver to make the catch and keep the shutout in check. Yeah. Mound, a scoreless game in the top of the 7th inning. And he caught a break here on a great play by his teammate. Andrew Velasquez was in a shift and not in an ideal spot for this little squibber line drive. And he made the catch, ranging about as far as he could have ranged. And Ohtani was delighted to see it happen. Shohei leads off against Tanner Houck in the 7th. How about hitting a homer, big boy? Do it all yourself today.
Oh my, would that be a story? And we'll talk about it.
Yes, we will. (1-0). The ball in the strike from Houck. Tanner Houck struck out the side in the 6th. Look at the range of Velasquez.
Yeah, he has great range, and he goes up with 2 hands, limits his range a little, but makes a great play.
You know, if you're thinking about the home run against Tanner Houck, they don't happen very often.
It doesn't happen.
He has not given up a homer in the last 22 1/3 that he's pitched. It's one of the longest streaks in baseball. 2-2. You know what I'm doing? I'm trying to put the kiss of death on it.
That's good. Do it again. Oh yeah, he doesn't give up home runs. He never gives up a home run. You can't hit a home run off of him. That was a very good slider, by the way, and he has a great one.
Yes. Two. Oh no.
Boy, I hate to hit line drives that wind up.
Where'd that get him, in the knee or the ankle?
No, the ankle, inside ankle. 4 feet off of the bat, right into the ankle bone. Ouch.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah. Hurts, leaves a mark. And he often wears a protective shin guard, and he doesn't have it on today.
The next 2-2. The late innings comeback yesterday started with some really good plate appearances. Nothing splashy in terms of the result, but a couple of walks after long ABs. Maybe Shohei can start something here. 3 balls and 2 strikes after being behind. Out to center field for Bradley. Time for our Kia player profile this afternoon, and for Anthony Rendon, a guy who really doesn't chase. A strikeout today, which was a bit of an outlier as he chased a pitch, but only Yandy Diaz of the Rays and Jake Cronenworth in San Diego have a lower chase percentage entering play today.
Well, I'd like to see someone chase the ball out in the streets over the Green Monster right now.
Well, if you come out to the ballpark this weekend, you can get an Anthony Rendon shirt. Join us tomorrow. Angels and Nationals, 6:30. First 25,000 fans get a Rendon shirt courtesy of Bally Sports West. For more on this season's giveaways, visit angels.com/promotions. Not only does Rendon not chase, but for whatever reason, as tough as Tanner Houck is, and some of these numbers sometimes confuse me, Bobby, he doesn't get a lot of chase. His slider is good as it is. Generates more looking strikes than swinging strikes.
Yeah, it seems like he throws it over the plate a lot. It's hard to hit even though it's in the strike zone.
Rendon hanging around. He'll do this all day.
Well, Ohtani needs a little time to get the sting out of that right shin or right ankle of his. He's going to go out, pitch the 7th inning. But his ankle's not feeling real good right now, I'll guarantee you.
Yeah.
He limped off the field.
Fouled away. On one of the earlier foul balls in this at bat, this happened. Foul ball goes into the stands. Guy gets it and gives it to a kid. Way to go.
Yes.
And then that kid, better yet, pay it forward, right? Gives it to the father of a smaller kid. I think there's a Haley Joel Osment movie happening out there somewhere. Ball and 2 strikes. That is such a tough pitch to lay off of.
And tough to hit. You know, the one that's up and away and thrown at 96, you have to lift the bat. It's away from your body. The barrel of the bat's usually under the ball. It's a good pitch to take.
1-2. Missed again. There's a guy on Twitter that has umpire report cards after every major league game.
Nice.
And I'm going to guess that Paul Emmel's report card today is going to be perfect.
It's very good, if not perfect.
He's been great.
He's been really right on.
I mean, some tough calls, some borderline pitches. Usually on a game when you see as many strikeouts as we have today, we bellyache a little bit about the zone. That has not been the case.
Agreed totally.
From 0-2 to a full count, the 3-2 home.
Foul ball. And Paul catches that one on the one bounce.
Rendon's homer yesterday came on a fastball, and it came amidst the discussion that his numbers against fastballs weren't what folks are used to seeing. We quickly made the point that by the end of the year, his numbers are going to be the same against all pitch types. Here's the next 3-2. What a great at-bat. My goodness.
You were talking about it earlier. That starts so innocently.
That's a 9-pitch at-bat, during which Rendon fell behind quickly 0-2, hung around with foul balls, and then worked the walk. And now you have a matchup favorable situation for Jared Walsh. Strike one.
I think Jared's still feeling good after having such a spectacular offensive game yesterday. He's thinking there's more to come, and hopefully it's going to be with this at bat.
Around the 1 year or so anniversary where Jared became the everyday first baseman. That one gets away from Plawecki. A wild pitch that'll advance Rendon into scoring position with one away.
It's a fastball that just gets away from both pitcher and catcher, hits off the end of the glove, and Anthony Rendon had a good secondary lead and read it very easily.
A ball and a strike to Jared Walsh. Let's take it back to yesterday and the big night that Jared had. Talked about how he's been challenged to hit left-handers, and he did that against Jake Diekman. Angels down to their final strike, and on the 9th pitch of the at-bat tied the game.
Well, it was yesterday with a perfect game that Jared broke up that perfect game, and here with a one-hitter and a shutout, maybe he could shake things up again.
One-two. That could be trouble. Into the corner toward Pesky's pole, and gone! He did it again! He's Jared on the spot. Boom!
It's not easy to keep that ball fair, but he did indeed, with a slider breaking in on his hands. Got out in front a little, but pushed his hands forward rather than the head of the bat to keep that ball inside the pesky pole. Yes!
So much for the consecutive innings without a homer streak. No sooner are the words out of our mouths than the 22+ innings without yielding a long ball strikes. Jared Walsh makes it 2-0 Angels.
And if Ohtani needed a little remedy for his leg to feel better, that was it.
Ball and 2 strikes to Max Stassi.
It is amazing when we bring out the stats, right? He doesn't give up home runs. Boom, there's a home run. It's spectacular.
I mean, it's like, you know, if you want to make it rain, just wash your car. We've been trying to do that in Southern California for the last 8 years.
And recycle the water, please.
Oh, Jared Walsh, have yourself a couple of days in Boston. He's a pressure guy, man. Prime time player. Those numbers will tell you everything you need to know. Called strike 3 taken by Stassi, and there are 2 away. Let's take you back to the homer.
After fouling one off after getting too far out in front, this one's down and in. And it's wrapped around the pole. Home run in many ballparks, but at this one really makes it sweet because that pesky pole has been the demise of many a visiting team, and it's great to see us take advantage.
Jack Mayfield now. Saving it up for the end of the game, just like last night. I mean, the Angels had absolutely nothing going offensively for the first 5 innings yesterday. Same thing today. A total of 1 hit, bunch of punch outs. And here they are, about to be headed to the bottom of the 7th inning with a 2-0 lead. That was just the 2nd hit of the game for the Angels.
So far.
You smell more coming, huh?
Well, so far.
I'm okay winning a game on 2 hits.
Oh, absolutely. Yesterday was a perfect game before Jared broke it up. This was a 1-hitter. This was easy.
Jack sends a fly ball and a shallow center for Bradley to retire the side. The damage done, and it's the same guy that stepped on the neck last night. Jared Walsh homers in back-to-back games. 2-0 Halos. In the top of the 7th, Jared Walsh's 2-run homer has finally cracked open the scoreboard, and Shohei Ohtani has been brilliant this afternoon. 2 strikeouts shy of matching a career best as he goes back to work in the bottom of the 7th inning. He and whoever behind him looking for 9 more outs to try to finish off the Angels' first series win in Boston since 2017. 9 outs to go. Aaron Loop is in the bullpen. Dahlbeck's jammed. Fly ball for Mayfield. 8 outs to go.
And early reports on Jack Mayfield's ability to play the outfield are he can do it. Very good jump on a full swing jam shot. Came in on the ball at Fenway Park and made the play look easy. Was not as easy as he made it look.
Jackie Bradley Jr. now with 1 away. 3 doubles in the series. And another knock for him. This is right out of his 2016 season. He's been great the past couple nights. And now Kevin Plawecki, who has put the ball in play twice, 2 line outs to right.
And in game 1 had a very important hit and run, which is a play that seemed to be dead and buried. Cora resurrected it for a big play in the game. This isn't necessarily the same situation, but it could be a play that's on.
I was just getting ready to ask you if you think they were going to try to bust him inside, because he looks to right field so often. And there was a 95-mile-an-hour pitch that just missed the outside corner. Ball and no strikes. The count to Plawecki. Good slider again. That has been an unbelievably effective pitch for Shohei today.
Yeah, and at this time of the game with 90 pitches, you really don't want to make a mistake inside. Three things can happen when you come inside, and two of them are bad. You could hit the hitter, you could leave it over the center of the plate, or you could hit that corner. So I think they're going to stay away.
One and two. We mentioned Ohtani's strike rate through the first 6 innings of this game, 85%. His previous best was in his last start at 68%. I mean, this dude looks to right field every swing he takes.
Yeah, he opens up a little and drags the bat behind him. It's not a pull swing, that's for sure. But an off-speed pitch, I have seen him turn and hit that fly ball to left field that could be very dangerous here at Fenway.
One, two again. There's one the other way, kind of by accident. Velasquez, tricky play, makes the catch.
Yeah, that was that off-speed pitch that he gets out in front of him, lofts it into left. Velasquez gets a good jump on this ball, which could be trouble without the range of a shortstop like Andrew.
He's had some tough chances today. Sun, wind, weird angles, in the shift, out of the shift.
His glove plays, no doubt about that.
Trevor Story was hoping that by the time he got up for a fourth time this afternoon, it would be somebody other than Ohtani on the mound. 3 strikeouts, all of them swinging.
And I hope he didn't figure anything out between his last at bat and this one, because this could be Shohei's last hitter. Be great if it ended on a K.
Rafi Devers next. Aaron Loop is hot in the bullpen. Runner at first with 2 gone, and it's 2-0 now to Story. We talked about the strike rate. How about the swings and misses today? A career high 27, Bob.
Yeah, I think mixing in that split finger as he did really put him on the road to swing and misses, and he's chalking a lot of them. Now he's 2-0 to a guy who's really overdue.
Missed with a fastball, falling behind 3-0. I mean, he is just carving up the right side of the plate against the Red Sox. Right-handed Red Sox hitters have missed on 19 of the 33 swings they've taken today. Back in the count, 3-1. I don't even see, there's not even a lot of fly balls against him today, Bobby. You got the 10 punch outs, 4 ground outs, and just a handful of balls out of the infield.
And one of the few times he's behind in the count here, 3-1. His velocity's down. He's got to make a pitch in a good location.
His 98th pitch of the game is swung out and missed.
And he went up from 95 to 97, and you could bet that this is the best pitch that he has in his arsenal. 3-2, the pitch of reckoning. You know, in Japan, they pitch and play to the 3-2 count, because when it gets to 3-2, something has to happen. And so this is what this guy, Ohtani, has been waiting for.
The 3-2. He got him again. 11 for Ohtani. Even more hair on that fastball. Shohei Ohtani. Cute this. Angels still lead 2-0. One shy of tying a career best. Look at the strike rate. 99 pitches, 81 strikes.
And the 99th pitch was 98 miles an hour when he needed it.
Brandon Marsh leads things off for the Angels. 2-0 on the Jared Walsh homer in the 7th. These have been two really fun ball games to watch. Last night, this afternoon. Glad to have you with us early back home on Bally Sports West. Angels coming home to kick off a homestand tomorrow, and it'll be a happy flight west if this score holds for another 6 outs.
And it'd be really happy for Brandon if he just gets this one hit to end this road trip.
Two balls and a strike. You know, doing some just some inventorying on the strikeouts that Ohtani has registered today, all but one of them swinging. So to our earlier point about the strike zone, it's not like he's benefited from generous corners and that's played in. This has been all about Shohei.
And it hasn't been way out of the strike zone. He's been in the strike zone with the swings and misses.
Marsh making a bid for extra bases. That ball's going to get down. Brandon Marsh has his first hit of the series. And opposite field flare single to open the 8th. Download the MLB app to get video highlights, live pitch by pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Los Angeles Angels.
And Matt, I know it's a team game and everyone's happy when the team wins, but as I mentioned, it's a 5-hour flight home, and that one hit right there will make the difference in the happiness that the seed has that Brandon Marsh is sitting in.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Ends a stretch of 5 straight strikeouts for Brandon in the series.
Yeah, he could be bunting here. They're thinking it's a hit and run, but I think it's going to be a nice conservative play and move him over to second. Velasquez has got to be able to execute the sacrifice in this situation to keep his glove in the game.
Did that hit him? Hit his bat. No, it hit him. It hit his foot. Andrew didn't react as though that hit him until a moment after impact.
But they're going to check to see if he bunted at it. You say he didn't. He went under the bat and hit off his knee.
Oh, gosh. Oh, boy.
Or his foot.
It sounded like it hit the bat. That's how painful that was.
Hit the bottom of his foot. Wow.
So first and second kind of the hard way as Velasquez is aboard, and he's talking about, you know, why didn't I wear that pad? He's telling Benji Gil, make sure I wear that next time. That's Dave Bush, the pitching coach, out with some words for Tanner Houck. How about this one? So swing and miss data only goes back as far as 2009. You're just talking about the MLB.com app. I mean, Baseball Savant has given us all this information. The 29 swings and misses generated by Ohtani today, the second highest by an Angel. Patrick Sandoval had a 32 swing and miss game last year. Here's Taylor Ward. And by the way, that 32 was the most by anybody in the game last year.
I don't know how you could get many more. Wow. Changeup was working.
Ward lifts a pop into foul territory. That's going to slice out a play. Taylor has struck out twice and walked this afternoon. Hit the big 2-run homer as a part of the 6-run 10th last night. Look where Dahlbeck's playing him, Bobby.
Yeah, it's almost a foot race on a ground ball to the second baseman on it, as who gets to the base first, the first baseman or the batter runner.
I mean, Velasquez is almost halfway between first and second. Get going. Ward toward the monster. Another ball well hit, and it's off the top of the wall. Taylor's on his way into second. Now he retreats and heads back to first. What happened there? Everybody had second thoughts about advancing.
That was, let's be cautious with no outs. And remember, Mike Gallegos at third base, coaching a position that he hadn't been earlier in the year. Phil Nevin not with the team at this time. And with no outs, you're being careful, making sure that everything works. But the aggressive Velasquez, the aggressive Ward, we're all thinking extra base. And as Brandon Marsh is held up halfway down the third, everyone had to retreat. Whoa, I'm only kidding. Everyone back to second and the first and the third. Whew.
Infield in for David Fletcher now, who cashes in into left field. That'll score Marsh. 1 on, 1 off. They're still loaded with nobody out. 3-0 Angels. David Fletcher's first hit of the series is a big one.
And he pulls the ball to left field rather than that right field swing that he's known for, and gets an RBI out of it. Now they'll play the infield in with Ohtani hitting and the bases drunk. Break it open.
Nobody out. A run in here in the 8th. Ohtani sends one the other way. That one's off the monster. Very close at third. Wow, way too close at third. And Ward is just safe. I mean, you can't play it any better than Alex Verdugo just played it.
You're talking about a line drive bullet off the green monster that's caught on one hop by Verdugo in left field, who almost gets a force out at third base, a play that probably has never been made even in this ballpark before. He plays it perfectly. He retreats, catches it on one hop, skips to third base with a one-hop throw, and there's Taylor Ward, who's taught with no outs and you're on second base, go back and tag up. This was no outs at second base, goes back to tag up and almost gets forced at third. Never seen it before.
Still loaded with 2 runs in for Rendon now. You know, we could tell you about exit velocity, or we could just show you how hard a ball is hit when it knocks your own number off the wall. Forget about exit velocity.
Never seen that one before either.
You don't need the miles an hour. We'll just show you the damage that ball did. Shohei knocked his own number off the fence.
That's spectacular.
There it is.
They put it back.
He fixed it. Tommy from Quincy in there working the scoreboard.
And Matt, remember, we've seen some nice hits this inning, but the game really changed when Rendon walked to start the 7th inning.
A chopper from Rendon. Tough play for Devers, and a good job by both Devers and Dahlbeck to get the very elusive first out of the inning. Another run scores, however. 5-0 Angels. Same formula as last night. Early frustrations and then a late inning offensive explosion.
Yeah, the high hopper gets us an RBI, gets us another run. There'll be some high fives in the dugout.
A pitching change, and we'll be right back. With a game-winning homer there last year, and Jared Walsh with the first runs of the game this afternoon into the same spot. Johnny Pesky only hit 17 career home runs, but he has that dimension named after him, a legendary longtime Red Sox figure, player, coach, ambassador.
One of the great guys to ever put on a uniform in any city. I had the pleasure of knowing Johnny during his years, and actually had the misfortune of managing in 2012, the year they passed.
New pitcher for Boston is rookie right-hander Cutter Crawford, and to answer the question that's no doubt on everybody's mind, yes, he does throw a cutter.
Cutter with a K.
Well, it has been quite an eighth inning for the Angels. First 5 batters to come to the plate all reached safely on 4 hits and hit batsmen. A near misstep on the base pass. But currently there are runners at second and third, 1 away, 3 runs in for Jared Walsh, who hit the 2-run homer that started the scoring in the 7th. Late on 96. Big fastball from the young right-hander. So there is some question as to who will come in and pitch in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Angels. We saw Mike Myers up a little while ago. Aaron Loop has been up. And they're both still firing here.
Yeah, but not right now. These guys are warming up, okay?
The Red Sox have Devers, Bogarts, and Martinez in that inning, and that's going to get through. Everything going the Halos' way this afternoon. Both runs will score. 2 more RBIs for Jared Walsh.
Placement is all part of the game, and that placement was perfect. A little line drive off the fist that goes right at the shortstop, who's not there, and plates 2 more runs.
In Jared Walsh's last 6 plate appearances, he has driven in 8 runs.
That's half as many as he has total. Nice job in the last couple of days.
All that damage coming in the 7th inning or later the last 2 games. Max Stassi a little late on the fastball, and it's 1-1. Everything synced up today. Ohtani was just fabulous on the mound. A 5 spot in the 8th.
Well, we talked about building character and building teams. This was a real team building session the last 2 days where everyone has contributed. Jared, of course, has contributed the most with his bat, but it's been a team effort all the way around and a real good feeling on this team going back to the West Coast.
He had a called strike 3 taken by Max. A pinch hitter now for the Angels as Jack Mayfield is pulled back for Tyler Wade, and a chance for Wade to get a plate appearance before we hit the road tonight. It's a 7-0 ball game, right? You're not necessarily needing the damage here by making a pinch hitting move, but just a good opportunity to get Wade's name into the box score. And Joe Madden is excellent in finding opportunities for everybody to jump in.
And we're playing at Fenway Park, and anything could happen, and it's 2 outs, and the shift is on. No one's on the left side of the infield, and Tyler's not thinking about bunting, but it should be a thought.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from there. Maybe if it's 4-0, 5-0,
maybe
explore that. Do you think if Tyler bunted, the Red Sox would take exception with that?
I think they would, and I don't think they should.
Out to center field for Bradley. 9 batters come to the plate for the Angels. They get out with 5 big runs. What started out as a pitcher's duel has turned into a 7-0 Angels lead. Ohtani, a brilliant afternoon. A strike percentage that was otherworldly. 29 swings and misses generated this afternoon. Ohtani set the tone. The lineup came around late, and Shohei looks poised to win his 3rd decision of the year. Yeah. Those are the cliff notes on a brilliant afternoon to wrap up the road trip. The new pitcher is right-hander Mike Myers. Myers gets Devers, Bogarts, and Martinez, making his 10th appearance of the year here this afternoon. Small sample size. That 6.48 ERA is going to go nowhere but down with more innings. 1-1. Mike had a scoreless outing last time out back on May 2nd at the White Sox. 2 innings of work in relief, allowed a hit, struck out 2. Rendon made the play on that ball. I didn't think there was any chance he was going to make a catch.
He got to the dugout. He knew where he was. He knew how much he had to lean over. And as he gets to the dugout, he stops his feet, but he keeps his body going and makes the play into the dugout. Nice job, Anthony. Stop it, lean it, catch it.
I mean, everything is going the Halos' way today. It is a good day to be an Angel. One away now for Xander Bogaerts. The 2 big bats for the Red Sox, and the 2 guys that have made the most noise for them all year, have really been neutralized this afternoon. A base hit for Devers, a base hit for Bogaerts. Each of those guys has struck out twice, and that's all Shohei's work, of course. 1-1. So an Angels bullpen that did not get the road trip off to a great start, didn't get the season off to a great start, has been really good since then. There's 2 implosions against the Astros, and I guess folks were settling into their roles. Not a lot of work in the spring. This is the bullpen that Perry Manassian envisioned. There's another high pop. Tough play for Stassi.
That's a pop-up that goes up and then away from the catcher, and as it's going away from the catcher and toward the infield, it's also being pushed by the wind toward the first baseline. So yes, it looked routine, but that was a difficult play for Max. Good job.
Two gone on a couple of high infield pops, and here's JD Martinez, who's doubled today. Another one of the big Red Sox bats that's been relatively quiet. And Paul Emmel said he swung the bat there. You know, there's not a ton of foul territory here on either side of the first and third base bags, as we know. Fenway Park, very intimate little place. But Anthony Rendon traveled 95 feet to make that catch, leaning over the dugout railing. Stretching exercises paying off for Anthony. Oh, 0-2 to Martinez. 2 gone, bases empty. All Angels this afternoon. Among the things Joe Madden will be doing on the flight home tonight, figuring out his pitching alignment for the upcoming Washington series. At the start of play today, there was a series of TBDs for the Angels against the Nats starting tomorrow. And a called strike 3 taken by Martinez. A 1-2-3-8 for Myers to inning number 9 in a 7-0 Halos lead. Next week for the Rays series, it's the Hyundai key to the game. Ringo Stars, it don't come easy. And for the second straight night, it applies. Angels shut out early today. They get 2 on the homer by Walsh in the 7th, and then 5 in the 8th. It might have looked like a rocking chair victory if you just looked through the box score, but that was not the case. Some terrific starting pitching by Rich Hill, and all the damage against the Boston bullpen once again. So it'll be Marsh, Velasquez, and Ward in the top of the 9th inning. Same trio that led off the 5-run 8th. Yeah, 9 batters came to the plate.
Nothing like a 2-hit game. Come on, Brendan.
Had that flare base hit into the left field corner in his last at bat. 2 balls and no strikes.
Nice swing at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. I think he's back, ready to get hot.
You know, another element to this that's a positive, and it's really been nothing but positives the last couple nights, is that the Angels are doing this today on a scheduled day off for Mike Trout.
Yes, indeed. Without Michael Trout. Yes.
3 balls and a strike to count to Marsh. And it turns into a full day off, too. Like, the game didn't dictate an opportunity for Trout to pinch hit today, so.
Never had to get the motor started, right?
Yeah.
Left it in the garage the entire time.
Stay off his feet for 9 innings. Marsh with a high drive out to right field. Cordero watches, and that one's gonna fly! Third of the year for Brandon Marsh.
Really is an amazing game. You take a swing, you foul one off, you're right on it, and you know good things are going to happen, and this is a really good thing when you can hit one over the bullpen at Fenway Park. Oh boy, that flight's going to be fun.
Get along. But Brandon puts the hat on, man. He looks the part.
Give him a horse, and he's ready.
Right out of a Louis L'Amour novel, man. Eight nothing Angels. Look at these guys.
Love it.
Two balls and a strike to Andrew Velasquez. Angels had one hit through 6 innings today.
Just the way we like it.
One hit, 9 strikeouts through 6. And a wave and a miss by Velasquez. One gone. If Brandon Marsh puts the hat back on, he'll be ready for Country Music Weekend. Saturday, May 21st. First, stay to enjoy a post-game Josh Turner concert presented by OC Healthcare Agency and OC4 Vets. Visit angels.com/promotions to secure your seats. Well, the lineup really snapped out of it starting last night late in the game. And how about that difference? 17 runs the last 14 innings. That's a way to snap out of a 22-inning scoreless streak.
And I don't want to overstate it, but it's all about character building. Perfect game, 5 innings, 1 hit, 6 innings. You believe that you can, and when you do it, it reinforces that belief.
One-two home to Ward. Jam shot, fly ball out to center for Bradley, and that's out number 2. Just in the last, 13 or 14 innings, Jared Walsh has made himself a candidate for Player of the Week. He's just gone nuts.
He's my Player of the Week.
And the week did not get off to a perfect start for him.
When you talk about having a good week and a good 2 days, you're talking about saving a road trip. You're talking about getting a team's morale where it needs to be rather than down way up. Yes, great job.
Good work by Dahlbeck. One more in the Angels' ninth on Brandon Marsh's 3rd home run of the season. Halos flying high at Fenway. To try to finish out business here this afternoon, an 8-0 Angels lead. We talked about how rare a winning series at Fenway Park has been for this vintage Angels squad. Their last winning series here back in 2017. 1 4-1. 1 win, 4 series losses, and 1 split among their last 6 trips here. But they're 3 outs away from claiming a series this afternoon. Alex Verdugo leads things off for the Red Sox. Verdugo, Cordero, and Dahlbeck for Boston. If you're tuning in late, Shohei Ohtani was at his absolute best today. 11 strikeouts. A season best 29 swings and misses. And as we were kind of watching his strikeouts back during the commercial, Bobby, you had the observation that the swings and misses came on balls in the zone.
It's hard to do that. 3 different pitches in the zone for 9 of his strikeouts on swings. I mean, this is overpowering stuff. Boy, I'm glad he's on the good guys team.
Flair slicing into the corner and out of play. I mean, it's way too early to start talking about season-ending awards, but it doesn't stop us from doing that. It's good water cooler conversation. You know, all the blogs, all the websites publish their April MVPs, April Cy Young Award winners. There are a bunch of guys off to great starts on the mound, but today I think Shohei inserted himself into that early race. A dribbler for Myers, got him.
Yeah, the way he's played, and many people think it's not up to his standards, but the way he's played thus far lets people understand why he was a unanimous MVP last year. He's an exceptional talent, and he does exceptional things on the baseball field, and I can't wait to see him play his next game.
I think a lot of guys that have accomplished what he just accomplished today, and there's probably nobody outside of Shohei. Wouldn't you think he'd be downstairs right now, icing, showering? He wants to be out there to watch the final out and be a part of the celebration handshake.
And I think this entire team has that attitude. Michael Trout included. Everyone wants to be part of it, and not the biggest part or the smallest part, but an equal part. And he exudes that team spirit.
I mean, he went 7 shutout innings with 11 strikeouts today. 2 scalding singles, one of which knocked a number off the wall. And he's got the demeanor of a guy who was a non-starter.
Yeah, it looks like he just got off the bus and he's waiting for the second game to begin, right? Oh, boy, he's something.
Two balls and a strike to count to Franchi Cordero.
Yes, he did.
Full count, 3-2.
And Myers is still overthrowing some of his pitches, trying to get that feel, that good feel of being an excellent major league pitcher. He's getting there, though.
Got him. Well, I think we're safe doing this now, right? You don't want to ever kill the circus clown by jumping the gun on things, but I think we're safe here in saying that this is going to go down as a win for Joe Maddon and the Angels. Career win 1,372, and that would tie Davey Johnson for 31st on the all-time list.
And there's a lot more where that came from. Joe likes the vibe of this team, and the team likes the vibe of Joe. I think that's a great match.
Bobby Dahlbeck represents the last out today for the Red Sox. Angels headed home tonight, 3 with the Nationals, and then a series with the always tough Tampa Bay Rays. Boston stays home. They welcome the White Sox to town.
And they're playing better.
Yes.
Yeah, they're a good team. They're going to be around all year. The White Sox, that is.
2 balls and no strikes to Dahlbeck. Mike Myers a couple of strikes away from finishing a shutout win in the road trip finale. Two and two. Dahlbeck sends a fly ball out to left, and that's going to do it today as Tyler Wade gloves it. And the Angels finish off the road trip with 4 wins in 7 games. Back-to-back outstanding efforts in Boston to take care of a postseason team from last year. Jared Walsh is as hot as can be, and as per usual, Shohei Ohtani will be the big star talking point coming out of this afternoon's win. The Angels' first series win here since 2017 and the first shutout victory since 2014. 8-0 Angels, and everything went our way tonight, Bobby.
Matt, it was great doing these games. Very exciting team effort and really, really enjoying baseball.
How about Jared Walsh in the clutch the last 2 nights? Down to the last strike of the game. This base hit tied it yesterday and capped off a 9-pitch at bat. He was just getting started. This 3-run homer would be the finishing blow. And Walsh carried that hot bat into this afternoon's series finale. 0 for his first 2, but then this 2-run homer that started the scoring. He would add 2 more runs batted in on a jam shot base hit in the 8th. Back-to-back huge nights for Jared Walsh, who is standing by with Erica Weston.
All right, thanks very much, Matt. Jared, you told me before the game today that your at-bats have slowly been improving. You've got 8 RBI over the last 2 nights. I'd say you're doing all right.
Yeah, it's a big step up from where I was about 10 days ago. So happy with the W, happy flight on the way back to Anaheim.
Happy flight indeed. How about the 2-run home run to break the scoreless tie in the 7th inning, though? How much did the walk by Anthony ahead of you help set up that home run?
Yeah, that was huge. And Houck's really tough. His ball's moving all over the place, good velocity. So got lucky, put a good swing on a ball, and short right field porch there, got it out.
You guys just keeping us in suspense, saving all of the runs for the end of these games?
Yeah, we should probably start doing it earlier, give our pitchers a break, but the staff, bullpen, they've been incredible, so want to keep it rolling.
You mentioned the pitching, Shohei specifically. He was brilliant once again, 7 innings, 11 strikeouts. Was he out of this world in this game, pitching for the first time in this ballpark?
Yeah, not enough words to describe what he does on a daily basis, so I just hope all the fans really appreciate it. It's not going to be like this forever, and man, this guy's unbelievable. So. Yeah.
Well said, Jared. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Happy flight.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Erica thanks one of the hitting stars of the series, Jared Walsh. This afternoon's pitching star shined brightest. Shohei Ohtani wins his 3rd decision of the year. A great night of Angels baseball in Boston. For Bobby Valentine and Erica Weston, Matt Vasgersian thanking you for tuning us in. Stay with us. More coverage ahead. Angels Live is next.